Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new, I'm Neek Lynn, and this is the place where braiders learn how to turn their skills into business success. And we are back with yet another tutorial. And let me tell you, this time I was not ready. This is one of my longtime clients, and I have not braided her hair in probably like 2 years. The last time I braided her hair was probably about shoulder length. And if I can find a picture, I will place it right here, or I'll just show you a picture of her last style. Either way, I wasn't ready because her hair was nowhere near this long. So in this video today, you are really just going to see me kind of just work my way through. Her hair is absolutely beautiful. I really enjoyed braiding her hair, but it definitely was challenging. As you can see, me trying my best to knot this up, put it in these sections and really just try to get it out of my way. So I'm going in with my normal tried and true neat braid, and I'm gonna go ahead and clean that part up. So I'll leave a picture of the gel here just in case you have not seen it in my other videos. So I use this gel for plenty of textures. The only texture that I don't really use this gel for is like really fine textures, but with the density of her hair, it could definitely withstand this gel. So that is what I'm going to go ahead and use. So sis, listen, when you get to this back, make sure you are still cleaning up the part, okay? I know it's in the back, it's not gonna be seen, but listen, we wanna make sure that that part is clean all the way through. And you will actually see me go through these parts probably 100 times because I just am very finicky about the parts. I think they are such an important part of the style, and especially when you are doing styles like this, which I didn't even say, but it's 4 braids, by the way. But yes, making sure that your parts are clean, especially on these styles that have, 4 braids, 6 braids, things like that. Sometimes what I've come to realize is that sometimes the less braids that you have, the more obvious the parts are, if that makes sense. It might not make sense. It's late, y'all, while I'm doing this voiceover, but I think you get the point. So I'm gonna go ahead and start the molding process, and I'm gonna make sure that I mold her hair on both sides completely. I'm gonna leave some of her baby hairs out. You could see like even on her side, that's just like naturally down. So I'm just gonna leave it there. It's not bothering nobody, so I'm gonna leave it there, okay? So after I mold her hair down, I'm making sure that I'm going all the way down to the nape. And here I go, still fixing this part because I told you, you're gonna see 100 times of me fixing these parts. Now, to start the braid, I'm parting off my triangle section. You have seen me do this before. I'm gonna split the section in the middle, okay? And I'm gonna run a little bit of gel through this middle part. Now that I have the gel ran through the middle, I'm going to start my braid. Now, when I start this braid, I'm gonna braid anywhere from 3 to 5 times. And in this instance, I did about 3 braid movements. When you're doing the braid on the edge, the hair that's on the hairline or the hair that's closer to the side of the hairline is always going to be a little less than the opposite side. So to give myself a good start when it comes to the braid and laying down the best foundation for the braid, I always find that it's best to start on the opposite side. Now, many braiders can start differently. I'm just telling you what I find that has worked for me. And as I keep on braiding, I'm just gonna keep pulling in my stitches from side to side. Another thing to keep in mind that when you're doing this braid that's on the edge, you want to make sure that your stitches that are on the side of the hairline are a little bit smaller. So I'm making sure for this braid that my stitches that I'm pulling in from the left, as I am right now, is a little bit smaller than the stitches that I'm pulling in from the right. It just makes the braid more even, and the more even your stitch braids are when it comes to like the pieces that you're pulling in and where you're pulling them in at, that's what makes the braid sturdy and kind of stops it from getting like lopsided. It's the best way that I could explain it. It is a little tricky on this side, but this is just the way that I have found that it works for me. Another thing that you want to keep in mind when you are working with a thicker density like this, you do not need to add super large pieces. So I like for my feed in braids to really match the density of my client's hair. And her hair is the type of hair that it is absolutely going to get thicker the more I work my way down the braid. And it's going to do that naturally. So I don't need to add in so many pieces because then her braid will become so bulky that I won't even really be able to handle the amount of hair that's in the braid. So I just added very small pieces to the braid and clipped it off because I just needed to regroup, y'all. I really needed to regroup. Like I said, I was not ready. So I just clipped that off for now. I'm moving right along because I actually was trying to figure out like how much hair did I want to add to the bottom of these braids. So this was really just like okay, let me just get through the feed in part. I'll figure out the bottom once I get to the bottom. So I'm gonna go ahead and just repeat the same exact thing. I'm still cleaning up these parts because sometimes things just get shifted as you go. I'm gonna start this braid out again, same way, splitting it down the middle. I do like to line up the beginning of the braid as much as I can. And again, I'm gonna split that in 3 sections and I'm gonna braid anywhere from 3 to 5 times. I think 4 to 5 times is really the sweet spot, but sometimes I just braid 3 times and just go ahead and get started. So you could see I'm just working my way through the stitches, and I'm gonna probably clip this off again because I just need a minute, okay? So that is going to be the running theme of this video, okay? I just need a minute to figure this out. So I'm going through on this next section, still cleaning up my parts, making sure that my parts are nice and clean in the back as well. And let me just tell you this real quick, because sometimes if you don't clean up the nape, you could have hairs that are like crossing from section to section, and that could be very painful and cause a lot of tension for your client in the nape area. So that's another reason to really take some time and make sure that that nape area is clean, because especially when they have really fine hair in that nape area, it could cause a lot of irritation. Any kind of hair texture, we want to make sure that we avoid that. When there's those fine baby hairs in the back, we definitely want to make sure that we avoid that, okay? So now I'm on the other side, just leaving her baby hairs out a bit, just like I did on the other side. Here I go, still cleaning up the parts. And this is another reason why I like to pre-part, because it just gives me the leverage that I need to continue to clean up and fix whatever I need to do before I commit to the braid. So you can see here, I'm going ahead and I'm separating my 3 sections out, parting down the middle like I have done the entire style. I'm gonna run that gel through again. Now this time, now that I'm on the other side of this edge, I'm going to braid in from the left side first and then pick up my stitches on the right. And again, now that I'm on this side, the right side is going to be her hairline, and I'm going to make those sections a little bit smaller than I will on the opposite side. When I get midway, I find that I turn my hands. And if you've ever seen my video where I talk about the 5 different ways to do a feed in, I go into that method in detail. So I'll leave the link right here to that video. So now let's go ahead and get into the finishing touches. I am using the blue Vigorol. I don't know exactly what type it is, but I'll go ahead and leave a photo here so that you can see. I do like this one, but I also like the Magic Fingers mousse as well. Now let's go ahead and get into these baby hairs. Now y'all, I am not the best at styling baby hairs, but I do try to do what I can do. So I'm gonna just go ahead and do a little swoop here. That's just kind of like the way it was just kind of like naturally shaping. So just gonna go ahead and do that. You see, I just touched that up as well. That was already perfectly shaped, so I really didn't have to do much to it at all. And I'm going to dip the very, very bottom of her braids. Now, I know I didn't show me adding in the rest of the hair, but all I did was just add in the pieces of the hair as I braided those braids down. But her hair is really all the way down to the bottom of these braids. So I'm really just dipping just that very little edge there. And this is our final result, the finished product, whatever you want to say, but it is beautiful. The clients in the shop, they absolutely loved it that day. They said it was giving Selena vibes, and I am just here for it. She loved it. I loved it. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. As always, make sure you subscribe to the channel. And as always, God bless.